The room went silent after the police chief's daughter struck the black woman across the face and hissed, "People like you should know when to leave." No one moved. Not the officers at the banquet table. Not the restaurant manager clutching his reservation book. Why did the woman simply straighten her napkin instead of fighting back? Why did she ask for one phone call? And why did the chief suddenly lose all color when she spoke a single name? Before the night was over, a sealed file, a missing witness, and a secret buried inside the department would surface. Stay until the end, because the quietest person in that room held the power to change the entire city. "Put the phone down," Everett Vale said. Lena did not move. The device vibrated against the white tablecloth, inching toward the stain from the overturned wine glass. A chair scraped. No one spoke. A woman's voice came through the speaker. "Chief Vale, this is Nora Kinn, director of the task group. Do not touch Ms. Carter, her mother, any witness, or any electronic device in that building." Vale reached anyway. Officer Daniel Ruiz stepped between his hand and the phone. "Sir," the chief's eyes hardened. "Move." "I can't." The air conditioning hummed above the chandeliers, cold against Lena's bare arms. Chloe stood beside her father, one palm still half raised. Vivian sat rigid at the table, fingers curled around her napkin. Nora continued. "Every camera feed, body camera file, access log, donation record, and internal message is under preservation order as of 8:17 p.m. Any deletion after this moment will be treated separately." Dean Mercer pushed through the officers. "This is a private event. You don't have jurisdiction over a restaurant dispute." "Lieutenant Mercer," Nora said, "your name is already on the order." His hand went to his jacket button. Twice he tried to fasten it. Twice it slipped from his fingers. Vale lowered his voice. "Lena, whatever you think happened, we can settle it without turning your mother's evening into a spectacle." Lena looked past him. Vivian's face had gone pale under the amber light, but she gave one small nod. "You made it a spectacle," Lena said. The front doors opened. February air swept through the lobby, carrying rain and wet pavement. 4 investigators entered with a state supervisor. At their center walked Nora Kinn, 52, compact, a black document case under one arm. "Phones on the tables," she said. "No one leaves until identities are recorded." Chloe laughed too sharply. "Do you know who my father is?" Nora placed the case beside the reservation book. "That is why I came." Manager Owen Price hurried forward. "Our security system overwrites every hour. I can make a copy." "Step away from the console." "I'm trying to help." "You had that opportunity before a guest was struck." Owen stopped. Behind him, waitress Tasha Reed removed her phone from her apron and set it on a tray instead of giving it to Mercer. Photographer Miles Sloan raised 2 fingers. "My camera recorded the room," he said. "Audio, too." Mercer turned. "You were hired by the Foundation. That material belongs to us." "No," Nora said. "It stays where it is." An investigator sealed Miles's memory cards in a clear pouch. Another photographed the vibrating phone, the wine spreading through the linen, and the brass fountain pen beside Lena's plate. Vale stared at the pen. "Where did you get that?" "It was my father's." The room seemed to contract. Officers watched their chief without waiting for orders. Chloe leaned closer. "Dad, who was her father?" Vale kept looking at the worn brass clip. Nora opened her case and removed a thin, sealed file. "Elijah Carter." A glass clicked against a plate at the donor's table. Vivian closed her eyes for 1 second. Vale whispered, "That file was closed." Nora broke the seal. "No," she said. "It was buried." At 4:12 that afternoon, Lina found her mother standing on a kitchen chair, polishing a framed newspaper clipping. "Mom, get down." Vivian glanced over her shoulder. "I was dusting." "You were balancing on one sock." "The other grips better." Lina steadied the chair. Rain tapped the windows, and the radiator clicked without giving much heat. Beneath a photograph of Elijah in his city uniform, the headline still read, "Records clerk fired after funds disappear." Vivian climbed down. "You could have thrown that away." "So could you." Neither touched it. On the table lay Lena's charcoal dress, camel coat, and the brass fountain pen Elijah had carried for 23 years. Vivian rubbed the worn barrel with her sleeve until a dull gold line appeared. "He promised to take us to that restaurant after his promotion," she said. "I remember. You were 14. You said you hated fancy food." "I hated food with leaves standing upright." Vivian almost smiled. Her thumb stopped over a scratch near the cap. He kept making promises after they sent him home. Lina folded the dress over her arm. "Tonight is his birthday." The kettle whistled. Vivian turned away. While tea steeped, Lina opened the drawer beside the telephone. Beneath coupons and spare keys rested a sealed envelope marked with a case number. 3 days earlier, her federal clearance had opened a restricted archive tied to municipal asset transfers. Elijah's name appeared on 6 forms dated after his termination. She slipped the envelope into her bag. Vivian returned with 2 chipped cups. "What did you hide?" "Work." "You say work when you mean trouble. It may be nothing." "Your father said that before they took his keys." Lina sat across from her. "I found dates that don't match." Vivian's hand went still. "I'm not saying more until I know what they mean." "You already know enough to carry his pen." "I carry it because you leave it in sunlight." "That is not why." At 5:03, they left. Vivian locked the door, checked it, then checked it again. The cold smelled of wet cedar and chimney smoke. Lina opened the passenger door, but her mother stayed on the walkway. "If someone says his name tonight," Vivian said, "don't let them make you defend him like he is still on trial." "He isn't. That city never told him that." They drove downtown through rain. Lena's phone buzzed with a message from Nora Kin. Archive access confirmed. "Do not approach anyone yet." She turned the screen face down. The restaurant glowed behind tall windows, all amber light and white linen. A banner over the side entrance announced the Vail Public Safety Foundation dinner. Uniformed officers stepped from cars while photographers waited under the awning. Vivian read the banner and stopped. "We can go somewhere else," Lina said. Her mother took the brass pen from Lena's pocket, polished it once with her sleeve, and placed it back in her palm. "No. Your father waited 18 years for this table." Inside, a hostess searched the reservation book, frowned at the Carter name, and glanced toward the private banquet room. Then she lifted a red coat check token and said, "One moment, please." "The orchids are too close to the podium," Chloe Vale said. A server shifted them 3 inches. Chloe, 29, blonde hair pinned into a knot, stepped back in her crimson dress. "Now it looks cheap." "It's the same flowers." "It's not the same photograph." Across the room, Everett Vale greeted donors beneath warm chandeliers. The police chief remembered spouses and colleges, and noticed which officers stood near which exits. "Beautiful turnout," a developer said. "Bellwether shows up for its own." Everett smiled, then straightened the knife beside his plate until it matched the napkin fold. A microphone squealed. "Turn that down," Chloe said. "It's already low." "Then make low quieter." Her father passed her. Stop correcting people in public. They work for us tonight. They remember us tomorrow. Near the service station, Lieutenant Dean Mercer read a message. 46, broad-shouldered, collar buttoned too tightly. He glanced toward Everett. Any mention of old archives, Carter or transfer ledgers, report immediately. Mercer deleted it. A young officer brought donation envelopes. Accounting wants these. Foundation table. Mercer took them. Learn the useful version of procedure. At 6:21, Chloe gathered the staff near the kitchen doors. Steam carried butter and citrus into the cold room. Plates clattered behind the panels. Guests used the lobby. Vendors used the side hall. No carts, coats, phones, or glasses in camera range. Tasha Reed, a 32-year-old black waitress with silver hoops and a pencil in her bun, raised a hand. What about regular reservations beside this room? Redirect them. Table 12 is beside your entrance. Move it. Manager Owen Price cleared his throat. We're fully booked. Chloe held his gaze. We'll manage, Owen said. Tasha's pencil stopped. Everett approached. You changed the seating? I improved it. You moved counsel donors from the press. They photograph badly when they eat. He aligned another knife. Behind him, a donor said, The archived records grant is on next month's agenda. The blade shifted under Everett's fingers. He corrected it twice. Chloe noticed. What is it? Nothing. You do that when something's wrong. I do it when the table is careless. Mercer appeared. No issues. Everett lowered his voice. Old names? None. Old files? None. Keep it that way. Chloe folded her arms. What files? Department housekeeping. You could tell me. I could. He walked away. At 6:48, photographer Miles Sloan tested the light with 2 flashes. Get the foundation seal behind me, Chloe said. It reflects. Fix it. Miles lowered the camera. Reflection is honest. Her stare sharpened. I'll change lenses. In the lobby, the hostess found 2 reservation cards in the wrong stand. One read Carter, 2 guests. Owen took it. Put the Carters at 12. Ms. Vale said, move 12. Then hold them in the foyer. The front door opened. Cold air curled over the marble, carrying rain and wet wool. 2 women stepped inside. Before Owen could reach them, Chloe saw Lena's camel coat and charcoal dress near the banquet entrance. She lifted one hand. You, she called. Take this coat to the back. Lena stopped beneath the brass archway. Chloe held out a cream-colored coat without looking at her. Back hall. Don't crease it. Rain ticked against the windows. Lena looked at the coat, then at Chloe. I'm a guest. Then why are you standing in the service entrance? This is the dining room entrance. No, my event. Vivian came beside Lena, a gloved hand on her arm. The foyer smelled of wet wool, lemon polish, and roasted garlic. A hostess hurried over. Ms. Vale, there may be a seating issue. There is now. Chloe pushed the coat closer. Take it. You should give that to the attendant, Lena said. Chloe's smile tightened. I just did. At the service station, Tasha Reed stepped out from behind a stack of plates. She isn't staff. Owen Price caught her elbow. Not now. She has a reservation. So do donors who can close this place with one call. Tasha pulled free. That doesn't change who she is. Chloe dropped a red coat check token into Lena's palm. The painted metal was cold, chipped around the number 7. There, now you look official. Lena let the coat slide back over Chloe's wrist but kept the token. Vivian said, We came for table 12. The hostess opened the reservation book. Carter, 2 guests. Everett Vale, passing behind his daughter, slowed at the name, but did not stop. Chloe glanced after him. Table 12 was moved. Where? Owen arrived, smoothing his tie. Near the kitchen. It's quieter. The door swings every 30 seconds, Tasha said. Tasha. A tray struck the counter with a metallic crash. Several donors turned, then looked away. Vivian removed her damp gloves, one finger at a time. My husband made this reservation 18 years ago. Chloe laughed once. Then he should have confirmed it. He died before he could. Chloe's expression shifted, then hardened when she noticed Miles Sloane's camera aimed toward the foyer. This is a private fundraiser. We cannot have strangers wandering through photographs. We're waiting for the table we booked, Lena said. Owen lowered his voice. Please help me keep this calm. Lena studied the token. You're asking the wrong person. Tasha stepped forward. I'll set 12 myself. You'll return to your station, Owen said. No. 3 servers stopped moving. Chloe folded the coat over her arm. Seat them. Keep them out of the banquet. Tasha led Lena and Vivian along the private room. Warm air pressed against them as the doors opened, carrying perfume and candle wax. Officers sat with donors beneath the foundation banner. Everett stood at the podium, thanking the city for its trust. At table 12, one chair faced a wall. Tasha rotated it toward the room. Owen moved it back. Fire code. There's 4 feet behind it. He did not meet her eyes. Lena placed the red token beside her plate. Vivian set the brass pen next to it. Your father would have said something, Vivian murmured. He did, Lena said. That was the problem. Tasha brought water. Her hand shook enough to ring the glass against the plate. From the banquet entrance, Chloe watched them. An assistant carrying sealed donation envelopes brushed past her chair. One white envelope slipped free and landed beside Lena's shoe. The envelope landed by Lena's shoe with a paper slap. She bent before the server noticed. The seal was unbroken, its crest pressed into the flap. Ma'am, don't... I'm giving it back. Lena held it toward Tasha. Chloe crossed the room first. What are you doing with that? It fell. Into your hand? Onto the floor. Chloe snatched it. One corner trembled between her fingers. Forks paused. The quartet played on. One violin note slipped flat. Tasha said, I saw it fall. Owen stepped beside her. Let's not turn this into something. It already is. Chloe raised the envelope. These contain cash and checks. Vivian's chair scraped back. My daughter picked it up. I wasn't speaking to you. Lena touched her mother's wrist. Sit down, Mom. Chloe glanced at the red token by Lena's plate. First, she pretends to work here. Now she's handling donations. You handed me the token. Guests shifted. An officer watched his glass. Miles Sloane stood by the wall, camera lowered, red light still on. Owen forced a smile. We can review the camera. Do it, Tasha said. He glanced at Chloe. The system may be cycling. You said it worked 10 minutes ago. This section has blind spots. Lena pointed to the black dome above the doors. That faces this table. Owen rubbed his tie. I'm not authorized during an event. Call my father, Chloe said. The kitchen door spilled heat and scorched butter, then shut. Everett Vale left the podium as applause broke apart behind him. What happened? I caught her with a donation envelope, Chloe said. You caught me returning it. Everett looked from Lena to Vivian, then at the card. Carter. He stalled for half a breath. Chloe noticed. Dad? He took the envelope. Was it opened? No. Anything missing? We don't know. Tasha moved closer. Because nothing was taken. Owen said. Please. Please what? Tasha asked. Forget what I saw. Everett turned to Miles. Were you photographing this area? I was photographing the room. Delete anything outside the foundation. That isn't what you hired me to do. Dean Mercer appeared beside the chief. It is now. Miles's thumb crossed the controls and pressed the lock button. Mercer saw it. Give me the camera. No. The thin word carried. Chloe laughed. Search her bag. Vivian rose. You will not touch her things. Mercer looked at Everett. Everett kept his eyes on Lena. What was your father's first name? Lena closed her hand around the token, its chipped edge biting her palm. You already know. The quartet stopped. Everett lowered his voice. Come quietly, and we can settle this without embarrassing her. Lena glanced at the officers, Owen blocking the lobby, and Tasha holding a tray like a shield. My mother isn't the one who should be embarrassed. Chloe dropped the envelope on the table. Then apologize in front of everyone. For picking up what you dropped? For acting like you belong here. No one moved. The white corner quivered in the vent's breath. Owen brought the book. Everett set 2 fingers beneath the name. Carter, he read. His thumbnail pressed into the paper until a pale line appeared. Then he looked at Mercer. Take the book, he said, and her phone. Mercer reached for Lena's phone. She slid it beneath her napkin. Do you have a warrant? I have a chief asking for cooperation. That wasn't my question. Everett kept one hand on the reservation book, his thumbnail whitening the paper beneath Carter. Your father, he said. Elijah Carter? Vivian's chair creaked. You remember him now. I remember a records employee who left under difficult circumstances. He was removed, Lena said. For cause? Was he? Chloe folded her arms. Dad, why are we discussing her family? Because names matter. Lena glanced at the pale line under Carter. Only when the right person holds the pen. Mercer stepped closer. Phone, now. Tasha set down her tray. She didn't do anything. You made it my concern when you asked me to lie. She pulled out her phone. I took a picture when the envelope fell. Mercer turned. Show me. No. The kitchen doors opened, releasing steam and citrus. Everett said, Ms. Reed, no one is accusing you. You told everyone she stole something. Then check the camera, Lena said. Owen stared at the carpet. Vivian rose. My husband came home carrying a cardboard box and apologized for losing a job he didn't lose. Everett finally looked at her. He waited 18 years for someone to admit a mistake. No one came. Chloe laughed once. This has nothing to do with tonight. It has everything to do with tonight, Lena said. Everett closed the book. What exactly do you think you know? Lena picked up the brass pen. Its ridged barrel had warmed in her hand. 6 transfer forms carry Elijah Carter's signature. Mercer's face changed. Everett said, those records were authenticated. They're dated after he was dismissed. Miles lowered his camera. Its red light stayed on. Chloe looked between the men. What does that mean? It means nothing, Everett said. It means someone used my father's name to move public money. Vivian drew a sharp breath. Everett leaned over the table. Cedar cologne cut through hot bread. Who gave you access? You're asking the wrong question. What is the right one? How many people knew? Mercer looked toward the exits. Everett straightened. Dean, secure the reservation book. Mercer lifted it. And Ms. Reed's phone. Tasha stepped back. You can't take it. You are preserving evidence. You mean removing it. Owen moved between her and the kitchen. Please don't make this worse. You keep saying that after it gets worse. Mercer held out his hand. Phone. Tasha pressed it to her chest. No. Chloe snatched the red token from beside Lena's plate. This started because she refused one simple instruction. Lena stood. Several officers rose with her. Everett said, "Sit down." "No. You are not in control here." Lena placed the brass pen on the white cloth. "Neither are you." Chloe stepped close enough that her perfume drowned the food and rain. "You think saying your father's name makes you important?" "No," Lena said. "It makes him impossible to erase." Chloe's fingers closed around the token. "Apologize." Lena did not. Across the table, Everett looked at his daughter, then at the officers, and chose not to speak. "Apologize," Chloe said again. The quartet had stopped, candle flames bent in the air vent. Lena stood beside table 12, one hand near the brass pen. "For what?" "For stealing attention from people who earned their seats." Tasha whispered, "That isn't what happened." Owen caught her sleeve. "Enough." Chloe glanced at the pen. "Stop using that old thing like it proves something." Vivian reached toward it. "It belonged to my husband." "Then he should have taught his daughter manners." Everett said, "Chloe." Barely her name. Not a warning. Lena kept her eyes on him. "You can end this." His jaw shifted. Officers avoided her face. One donor folded his napkin smaller and smaller. Chloe stepped closer. "Say you were wrong." "I wasn't." "Say you touched what wasn't yours." "I picked up what fell." "Say you don't belong at this table." Lena answered, after one breath, "No." The slap landed with a flat crack. For 1 second, nothing moved. A strand of hair brushed Lena's cheek. She did not raise her hand. Vivian's spoon slipped from her fingers. It struck the stone floor, spun in a bright circle, and kept spinning. No one bent to pick it up. "Mom," Lena said softly. Vivian stared at Chloe. Her first breath would not become a word. Then she looked toward Everett. "Elijah stood in a room like this once," she said. "Everybody knew. Nobody moved." The spoon slowed. Chloe's face shifted, then hardened. "She threatened my family." "I asked a question," Lena said. Mercer pushed between them. "This is over." "No," Tasha said. Her voice shook, but she stepped into the aisle. "It's recorded." Mercer turned toward Miles. "Camera." Miles backed against the wall. "You're not taking it." 2 officers moved, then stopped when Daniel Ruiz said, "Chief, we should separate everyone and preserve the scene." Everett's eyes snapped to him. "Follow orders." "I am trying to." Cold air crossed Lena's cheek. She picked up her father's pen and capped it with both hands. The click cut through whispers. Chloe pointed at her. "Remove her." Vivian stood. Her chair struck the wall. "You will not take my daughter anywhere alone." Owen bent for the spoon. Vivian put her shoe over it. "Leave it." His hand froze above the floor. Everett lowered his voice. "Lena, cooperate, and your mother can go home." "And the footage?" "It will be reviewed properly." "By Mercer?" Mercer tugged at his collar. "By the department," Everett said. "That isn't an answer." "It is the only one you're getting." Daniel approached. "Ma'am, I'll escort you to the office. Your mother can wait outside." "Can she keep her phone?" Mercer answered first. "No devices." Tasha slipped her phone beneath a folded service towel. Lena saw it. Daniel did too. Neither spoke. The officers formed a path. Guests pulled their chairs inward, leaving a corridor between white tables. Vivian reached for Lena's hand, but Mercer stepped between them. 2 minutes, Lena told her mother. Vivian touched the brass pen instead. "Your father said that once." Lena's fingers closed around it. The service door opened onto a colder hallway, smelling of bleach and burnt coffee. Behind her, the spoon finally stopped spinning. It aimed toward the windowless office. The office door shut behind Lena with a rubber-edged thud. A fluorescent tube buzzed above a metal desk. The room smelled of bleach, burnt coffee, and damp wool. Daniel Ruiz stayed by the door while Mercer set Lena's bag on the desk. "Sit. My mother stays where I can see her." "There's no window." "Then open the door." Mercer looked at Daniel. "Close it." The latch clicked. Identification. Lena took out the leather case. Before she could open it, Mercer snatched it and laid it face down beside the reservation book. "You should look at that." "I know who you are." "You know my name." He took her phone, then searched the bag. Wallet, keys, gloves, sealed envelope. His fingers stopped over the case number. "What is this?" "Something you should not touch." From the hallway came Vivian's voice. "Lena?" "She's fine," Mercer said. "You don't know that." Daniel shifted. "I can check." "You can stay where you are." Cold air pushed from the vent across Lena's cheek. She sat because her knees had loosened. Mercer slid a desk phone toward her. "One call." "To Counsel?" "To whoever can convince you to stop escalating this." "I need privacy." "You lost that privilege." Lena reached into her coat for the brass pen. A folded square of paper came with it and fell near her shoe. She knew the handwriting. "If they use my name, follow the dates." Paper remembers what people choose to forget. Mercer leaned forward. "What is that?" "Nothing you kept." She folded it twice. Her thumb would not fit the pen cap into place. The ridged barrel pressed so hard into her palm that a red pattern rose beneath her fingers. Daniel saw it. "Ma'am, you can put that down." "No." The word came thinner than she intended. Outside, Vivian coughed twice, the dry cough she had hidden all winter. For one breath, the room blurred. Lena saw Elijah at their kitchen table, peeling the label from a medicine bottle because he could not bear to see his name beneath dismissed. Mercer softened his voice. "Call your husband, your sister, whoever is waiting." "No one is waiting." He looked away first. Lena straightened the note along the desk edge. "Dial 9?" "Yes." She pressed 9, then a number Mercer did not recognize. A woman answered. "Kin?" Lena watched the face-down identification case. "This is Carter. Preservation Protocol 7. Active interference. Multiple devices at risk. Civilian witness separated." Mercer's chair struck the floor. "Hang up." Nora's voice sharpened. "Confirm location. Vale Foundation dinner. Bellwether. Service office behind the East dining room." Mercer reached across the desk. Daniel stepped forward. "Sir, don't." "You authorized the call," Lena said. "I did not authorize coded threats." She closed her hand around the pen. "Elijah Carter transfer file. 6 post-termination signatures. Chief present." The line went quiet. Then Nora said, "Do not surrender that phone." 3 hard knocks hit the door. "Lena," Vivian called. "They're taking the waitress's phone." Nora heard her. "Who is deleting evidence?" Mercer stopped reaching. The fluorescent light flickered, and in the brief dimness, Lena saw fear arrive on his face before he hid it. "Who is deleting evidence?" Nora asked. Mercer's hand hovered above the desk phone. "No one." "Then step away from Ms. Carter." The fluorescent tube buzzed. A cart rattled beyond the door, then stopped. Lena held the receiver while the brass pen cut a crescent into her palm. Nora's voice turned clipped. "Bellwether Dispatch. Initiate Preservation Protocol 7. Restaurant feeds. Foundation accounts. Department messages. Body camera files. Archive logs. Timestamp. 8:17 p.m." Mercer stared at the clock. "You can't issue that over an unverified call." "I verified her before you took her identification." Lieutenant, touch one device and you enter the evidence chain. 3 knocks sounded. Vivian called. They took Tasha toward the kitchen. Lena rose. Open the door. Mercer blocked it. Sit down. Daniel's radio crackled. All units at the Vale event, maintain positions. State supervision en route. Mercer grabbed his radio. Disregard. Daniel pressed transmit first. Unit 12 acknowledges. Mercer turned. What did you just do? My job. In the corridor, Chloe shouted. My father runs this department. Nora asked, Officer Ruiz, are you wearing a camera? Daniel touched the unit on his chest. Its green light blinked. Yes. Secure the file locally. Do not dock it. That equipment belongs to the department, Mercer said. So does the deletion log. Daniel opened the door. Cold air carried bleach and burnt coffee. Vivian stood between 2 officers. Tasha waited near the service station, her apron twisted from a search. Mom? I'm all right. Vivian's fingers shook against the wallpaper. Daniel entered a supply room, took a tablet, and connected his camera. Blue light cut across his face. Copying file. 2103 to 2127. Mercer followed. Disconnect it. Preservation order. From a voice on a phone. From the task group director. The bar reached 12%. Owen appeared. The security system wants administrator access. Don't enter anything, Lena said. Chloe pushed behind him. Why is everyone listening to her? No one answered. 29%. Mercer lowered his voice. Daniel, you have 6 months on this force. 7. You want your career to end over a dinner complaint? Tasha stepped beside him. It stopped being a dinner complaint when you collected phones. 46%. A tone came from Mercer's pocket. His screen read, Remote lock requested. Daniel saw it. You sent a lock. I sent nothing. Then who did? The bar froze at 63%. Daniel's hand trembled. Lena set the brass pen beside the tablet. Don't pull the cable. The line moved again. 71, 84, 92. Footsteps crossed the lobby. The front doors opened, and wet February air swept inside. 100%. Daniel removed the cable. The file sealed with a digital timestamp. Nora's voice came through the receiver. My team is inside. Another unit is entering the municipal archive. Mercer went pale. The archive is closed. Not anymore. A notice appeared on the tablet. Archive Room B. Access recorded 8:19 p.m. Daniel looked up. Someone got there first. Lena picked up her father's pen. Then find out what they went to remove. At 8:26 p.m., Nora Kinn entered the service corridor with rain darkening her coat. Who accessed Archive Room B? Daniel handed her the tablet. Badge number was masked. By whom? Mercer said, The system does that during maintenance. On a Sunday night? He looked away. Nora opened Lena's identification case and returned it. Chloe saw it from the doorway and stopped speaking. Everett arrived behind her. This is still my department. No, Nora said. Right now it is a scene. Investigators sealed the reservation book, Tasha's phone, Miles's camera, and the brass pen. Lena kept 2 fingers on the last one. It stays with the evidence, Nora said. It stayed with my father longer. A radio call cut through the hall. Archive team to Kinn. Room B opened at 8:19. One cabinet is empty. Which one? Lena asked. Municipal transfers, 2007 through 2009. Vivian leaned against the wall. The radiator clicked behind her, releasing the smell of hot dust. The front bell chimed. A thin man in a soaked brown overcoat stood beneath the awning, breathing hard. 63, with an uneven gray beard, he carried a grocery bag wrapped in plastic. I need Nora Kin. Mercer moved first. Who are you? Harlan Moss, assistant records clerk, retired. Nora brought him inside. Why are you here? Lena recognized the name from Elijah's personnel file beside one typed line, transferred before review. Harlan set the bag on a clean table. His fingers smelled of machine oil and old paper. I heard Carter's name on the scanner, then the archive alarm. Everett stepped closer. You should leave. Harlan's mouth worked before sound came. That's what I did 18 years ago. He opened the plastic. Inside lay a ledger bound with black tape. Its pages rippled from damp. Mercer whispered, That is city property. No, this is the copy you told me to destroy. Harlan faced Lena. Your father came to me the night they fired him. He said the dates were wrong. I told him I hadn't seen anything. He believed you? Lena asked. He wanted to. Harlan opened the ledger. Blue carbon marks ghosted across the pages. Beside 6 transfers, Elijah's signature appeared in dark ink. Beneath each one, a second impression showed a later date. Why keep it? Because he left me a note. Harlan removed a folded memo from the binding. And because I was a coward once. I didn't want to be one every day after. Lena unfolded it. Blue dye rubbed onto her fingertips. Dust and carbon ink carried her back to the kitchen table, where Elijah had sorted bills after losing his job. The memo was brief. Transfer authority altered after review. Chief Vale notified. Originals removed from Cabinet B. At the bottom, her father had written, If my name remains, check who benefits. Vivian read over Lena's shoulder. Her lips parted, but nothing came. Nora photographed each page. Did you see who changed the dates? No, but I saw who collected the originals. Mercer stepped backward. Harlan pointed at him. He was a sergeant then. He's lying, Mercer said. Harlan reached into the bag and placed a yellowed routing slip on the table. The signature authorizing release of the originals belonged to Everett Vale. Raise your right hand, Marisol Kent said. At 10:06 a.m. 3 days later, Everett Vale stood beneath Bellwether's commission seal. The room smelled of floor wax, coffee, and damp coats. Do you swear your testimony is true? I do. Marisol, 56, watched him sit. Did you order staff at the foundation dinner to seize personal devices? I ordered evidence preserved. Tasha leaned toward Lena. That's not what he said. Lena held a paper cup. The coffee had gone cold. Vale continued. My daughter believed a donation envelope had been taken. Was it opened? No. Was anything missing? Not to my knowledge. Then why was Ms. Carter confined? For everyone's safety. A murmur crossed the room. Tasha took the witness seat. I saw the envelope fall. Ms. Carter picked it up and handed it toward me. Did you tell anyone? 3 times. What happened? Lieutenant Mercer asked for my phone. Mercer sat behind Vale. His water glass remained full. His fingers reached for it, stopped, then flattened against the table. Miles Sloan testified next and placed a memory card beside the microphone. My camera recorded the accusation. Vale's attorney rose. He was contracted by the foundation. A contract does not erase a recording, Marisol said. The video played. The slap cracked through the speakers louder than it had in the restaurant. Vivian lowered her eyes. No one moved. Then Everett's voice filled the room. Take the book. And her phone. Marisol paused the video. Why did you not secure your daughter's phone? Vale answered late. I made a judgment call. Daniel Ruiz took the stand. Rain traced gray lines down the windows as he described the lock request sent to his body camera. Who could send it? Internal Review Command or the chief's office? Mercer lifted his glass. It knocked against his teeth. Did you send it? No. Did Chief Vale? I can't speak for him. You have been doing that all morning. Vale leaned toward the microphone. This commission is turning a restaurant misunderstanding into an attack on my department. Marisol folded her hands. No, Chief. The records did that. A transfer form appeared on the wall, Elijah Carter's signature enlarged above the date. That form was authenticated years ago, Vale said. By your department, Lena replied. His attorney objected. Ms. Carter will have her turn, Marisol said. Harlan Moss placed the black-taped ledger beneath the document camera. I kept the carbon copy. Why? Because the original dates changed. He pointed to blue impressions. These transfers were entered after Elijah Carter was gone. Can you prove who altered them? No, but I can prove who collected the originals. The routing slip appeared beside the ledger. Everett Vale's signature filled the screen. Mercer reached toward his glass again. He never drank. Marisol removed her glasses. You testified that Elijah Carter authorized these transfers. He did. Then produce the original authorization, its date, and the chain of custody record. Vale's attorney whispered to him. The ventilation clicked off, leaving the room cold. Where is the original form, Chief Vale? For the first time that morning, he had no answer. The side door opened before Everett could answer. A woman in a navy suit entered with 2 evidence cases. Priya Desai, 43, a forensic document examiner, checked each seal before she sat. Marisol Kent nodded. Proceed. Priya placed Elijah Carter's transfer form beneath the camera. His signature filled the wall behind Everett. Black strokes enlarged across the wall. This is not an original signature, she said. Vale's attorney rose. That is an opinion. It is a comparison. She displayed a personnel form Elijah had signed 2 years earlier. The names matched perfectly, line for line. Natural handwriting varies, Priya said. Pressure changes, spacing changes. This was lifted from the older document and transferred onto a later form. Everett's face stayed still. When was that form created? Marisol asked. 11 months after Mr. Carter's dismissal. The paper and toner batch confirm it. A murmur moved through the room. Lena's blue-stained fingertips rested on the brass pen. Vivian held an unopened bottle of water. Vale leaned toward the microphone. Documents are scanned and reprinted all the time. Then the metadata should show a lawful source, Priya said. It does not. 6 municipal transfers appeared on the screen. Total amount? $482,000. Destination? 3 vendors paid through the Vale Public Safety Foundation. Chloe shifted in the second row. 1 rented event space, Priya said. 1 provided consulting. 1 produced promotional material. Chloe whispered. Those were my programs. Everett turned. Do not speak. You told me the city approved them. His attorney touched his sleeve, but Everett pulled away. Marisol asked, were the vendors independent? No. 2 belonged to longtime associates of Chief Vale. The 3rd was registered to the foundation treasurer's brother. A spreadsheet replaced the signatures. Invoices glowed in pale rose. Priya pointed to one line. This payment covered the banquet where Ms. Carter was struck. Chloe's chair creaked. That's impossible. Tasha looked back. It happened in front of you. I mean the money. Lena did not turn. Both happened in front of you. Chloe's mouth closed. Priya lifted another page. Elijah Carter filed a memorandum warning that transfer authority had been altered. It was logged 2 days before he was removed. Everett said, "He was disgruntled." Vivian tried to open the bottle, but the cap slipped. Lena loosened it for her. Marisol asked, "Did Mr. Carter benefit from any transfer?" "No." "Did Chief Vale's family foundation?" "Yes." The enlarged signature returned. For 18 years, Elijah's name had sat beneath a decision he tried to stop. Chloe stood. Her crimson dress looked too bright beneath the hearing lights. "Dad, did you know?" Everett watched the table. "Answer me." His water glass trembled when he reached for it. Marisol's voice crossed the room. "Chief Vale, you are still under oath." He withdrew his hand. Chloe looked at the signature, then at Vivian. "I built everything on that foundation." Vivian raised her eyes. So did he. No one asked which man she meant. At the back, 2 state investigators stepped into the aisle. The 2 state investigators stopped beside Everett's table. "Chief Vale, stand and step away from the microphone." His attorney rose. "On what authority?" "Suspension pending referral for forgery, diversion of public funds, and interference with evidence." Everett did not move. Elijah Carter's copied signature still filled the wall behind him. Chloe whispered, "Dad." He reached for his water. The glass slipped, struck the table, and rolled. Cold water spread through his notes. Marisol Kent closed the hearing folder. "All exhibits remain sealed." Everett stood. "I served this city for 31 years. One investigator held out an envelope. "Then you know what suspension means." The room filled with coats, chair legs, and restrained voices. No one applauded. Lena watched an officer remove the chief's badge and seal it in clear plastic. Vivian held the bottle Lena had opened for her. Mercer remained seated. "Lieutenant," Nora Kinn called, "you're coming with us." His glass stood untouched. "I want counsel." "You may have counsel." "And protection." Everett turned. "Dean." Mercer stared at the wet papers. He kept a list. The room quieted. "What list?" Nora asked. "Complaints that never entered the public system. Names, dates, officers, witnesses. We called them courtesy closures." "Where is it?" "Internal Review, Cabinet 4. Behind the training manuals." Everett said, "You're lying to save yourself." Mercer's collar was dark with sweat. "I saved you for 18 years." Chloe backed away from them both. By noon, the foundation board met in the same banquet room. The chandeliers were off. Gray daylight revealed fingerprints on the doors and a wine stain the cleaners had missed. A lawyer read, "Effective immediately. Chloe Vale is removed as executive director. All accounts are frozen." "You can't freeze payroll," Chloe said. "People depend on me." "They depend on money you cannot explain." "I didn't forge anything." Nora stood near the entrance. "Your expenses, vendor approvals, and the assault complaint will be reviewed separately." Chloe looked toward her father's chair. It was empty. His ivory name card remained between untouched silverware. Did he know? Lena stood beside Vivian. He knew enough to hide it. Chloe lifted the card, bent it once, then returned it to the same place. In the lobby, Owen Price waited with Lena's coat over his arm. Lemon polish could not cover stale coffee from the service hall. "Mrs. Carter, I am deeply sorry." Vivian buttoned her coat slowly. "When?" Owen blinked. "Excuse me? When are you sorry? When she was handed a token? When you blocked the camera? When they took her away?" His fingers tightened in the wool. "I was trying to keep control. You had a voice before anyone lost control." Tasha stood behind the desk, listening. Owen lowered his eyes. "I should have used it." "Yes," Vivian said. "That was when it could have mattered." Outside, February wind pushed paper cups along the curb. Reporters waited beyond the steps, but Lena guided her mother toward the car. Behind them, workers removed the foundation banner. One corner tore loose first, exposing Everett Vale's empty chair through the glass. His name card was still standing. By 8:40 the next morning, the foundation banner was gone. Lena entered City Hall through a side door. The corridor smelled of wet stone. "They're offering resignations," Nora said. "That isn't enough. It is faster. So is burying a complaint." On the 4th floor, binders covered a long table. Marcus Bell, 61, a former city auditor who squared every page before reading, stood to greet her. "We can suspend people," he said. "We can't rebuild trust with suspensions." "Then don't start there." He slid 3 drafts toward her. Independent storage, civilian access to complaint logs, alerts when files are altered. Lena read the first page. "Who controls the servers?" "The department." She pushed it back. "Then nothing changes." At 10:15, the hearing began. The room was too warm, and the microphones smelled of metal and old coffee. Tasha sat beside Daniel. A councilman cleared his throat. "Chief Vale is suspended. Why impose permanent rules on an entire department?" "Because the next person may not have a federal number to call." Another councilwoman leaned forward. "Are you asking to control police operations?" "I'm asking for separation. A department cannot investigate its own deleted records, fund its own charity, and certify its own innocence." Marcus aligned the policy stack. The proposal removes police control from any affiliated foundation receiving public money. A union representative stood. "That punishes officers who did nothing wrong." Daniel rose. "It protects the ones who try to do it right." Mercer's hidden list had grown to 93 closed complaints. Each name triggered external review. Vivian sat in front with Elijah's restored identification under a clear sleeve. Her thumb moved over the plastic where his photograph had faded. At 2:03, the council voted. Independent storage passed unanimously. Civilian review passed 6-1. Deletion alerts passed. The foundation separation rule passed last. No applause followed. Papers shifted. Someone coughed. Marcus leaned toward Lena. "You got more than they planned to give." "They gave what the records required." 3 weeks later, fresh paint and cut wood scented the new Municipal Records Center. Vivian stood before a glass case. Inside rested Elijah's restored identification card, the blue carbon memo, and a corrected personnel file. She touched the glass with 2 fingers. "They spelled his middle name right," she said. For 18 years, the city had printed his name only beside the accusation. Marcus joined them. "The first archivist class begins Monday." "How many?" Vivian asked. 24. "Teach them to question dates." "That is the first lesson." Tasha arrived with the red coat check token. "The restaurant found it under table 12. Lena turned it over. Number 7 was still chipped. "Keep it," Vivian said. "Not everything needs to go behind glass." Outside, bells marked noon. Lena signed the opening ledger with Elijah's brass pen, then passed it to the first trainee. "Your turn." The young woman hesitated before taking it. Behind the glass, Elijah Carter's restored badge caught the daylight, and for the first time, nothing covered his name. 8 months later, table 12 was set for 2. September sunlight warmed the white linen. The kitchen smelled of baked apples and coffee. Lena turned the red coat check token between her fingers. The chipped 7 caught on her thumb. Tasha approached in a dark jacket instead of an apron. Her badge read, Staff Training Director. "I kept the table open," she said. "You didn't have to." Yes, I did. She rotated Vivian's chair toward the room. No one moved it back. Owen brought 2 menus. He had resigned after the public report found that he delayed access to the security footage. Now, he worked mornings while completing compliance training. The cameras keep 90 days, he said. Outside storage, no local override. Vivian touched the menu. Good. He accepted the word and left. Daniel Ruiz arrived at noon in a blue suit. He had transferred to the new Office of Professional Standards, where every deletion alert required independent review. 93 courtesy closures became 71 formal cases, he said. And those 71? Lena asked. Still moving. He placed the oversight report on the table. Harlan Moss's testimony filled 6 pages. Miles Sloan's recording was used in witness training. Marcus Bell chaired the civilian board, while Priya Desai taught archivists how copied signatures hid altered dates. Everett Vale awaited trial for forged records, diverted funds, and interference with evidence. His pension remained frozen. Dean Mercer had pleaded guilty to record tampering, agreed to testify, and was permanently barred from law enforcement. Chloe received probation, restitution, and community service for the restaurant assault. The foundation dissolved, and its lawful money went to legal aid. A sealed envelope lay beside Lena's plate. Tasha nodded toward it. Still unopened? For now. The first line of Chloe's letter showed through the paper. I thought my name was a door no one could close. Vivian studied her. Will you read it? One day. That sounds like your father. He waited too long. The lights dimmed. Tasha brought an apple cake with 1 candle. Its flame reflected in the brass fountain pen beside Lena's hand. For Elijah, she said. Vivian opened a blue folder instead of blowing out the candle. Inside was the amended personnel record. The accusation had been removed. The city restored Elijah's service, issued back pay, and formally found that he had reported misconduct before his dismissal. At the bottom waited 1 blank line. Case status. Lena uncapped the pen. Its familiar ridges pressed against her fingers, but her hand stayed loose. Vivian whispered, he should have signed it. He already did his part. Lena wrote closed. For several seconds, cups touched saucers, and traffic moved beyond the glass. No one stared. No one asked them to move. Tasha returned with a wooden box lined with carbon paper. Lena placed the pen inside, then handed her the red token. What should I do with it? Keep it at the front desk. Tasha slipped it into her pocket. Vivian cut the cake into 3 pieces, leaving 1 on the empty plate between them. Outside, the records center caught the late sun. 24 trainees were finishing their first week, and every altered file now left a copy beyond the department's reach. Lena closed the folder. The candle burned beside Elijah's name. Have you ever witnessed someone being dismissed, blamed, or silenced while others chose not to speak? Share what happened in the comments, especially if one person's quiet decision changed the outcome. Send this story to someone who believes dignity should never depend on status, family influence, or who controls the room. Sometimes accountability begins with a saved recording, an honest witness, or a single person refusing to look away. Subscribe for more stories about justice, quiet resilience, and the lasting changes that follow when hidden records finally come into the light. Your voice helps keep these stories moving and reminds others that standing beside the truth can matter long after the room falls silent.